Hello, Leafs Nation. Welcome to episode 2 of the TML Domain podcast, season 4. Man, I can't believe it's September. I'm so excited. I can't believe that the Leafs actually play games this month. Super excited. Super excited. So let's start off this podcast by going through some key dates in the month of September. So the rookies report to camp September 14th, which is not that many days away, actually. What is it? Today is the 7th. So the rookies report to camp September 14th, and the rookie tournament that the Leafs are participating in, the Traverse City Prospects Tournament, is from September 15th to September 19th. So, that's right around the corner. That's a week away. I'm excited about that. It's always it's not that it's a huge deal, but I've noticed for a long time when these prospect tournaments happened, the Leafs rookies wouldn't win too many games. And, you know, during the rebuild, the prospects weren't all that great. The guys that got drafted really high made the Leafs right away. So there was no real I would say the cabinet wasn't really full of high-end prospects, but in the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years, the prospect group has gotten uh, somewhat more talented. So it's always fun to see how our rookies fare against other teams' rookies, and it's nothing special, just because not all high-end prospects show up to these tournaments. Sometimes there's guys in Europe, they can't make it over. Their camps have already started. The KHL has already started. So it's not that everybody brings their best, but it's um it's fun to see. Every once in a while, you see a couple of guys make some nice plays and passes and score, and you're like, I wouldn't mind that happening on the these guys making those plays on the Leafs in a couple of years. But yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I always do. I don't miss a game. You guys let me know in the comments if you guys are interested. Game one is 6:30 p.m. Friday, September 16th versus the St. Louis Blues for the rookies. And what I could do is maybe we'll live stream that game and have some dialogue going on while that's happening in the background, because not every moment is um, worth paying attention to in these games. But it's fun to watch, and it allows us to have a little dialogue. It allows me to connect with you guys and see what's going on, what you guys think. We're going to see Easton Cowan, Fraser Minton. We're going to see a lot of these guys, maybe Roni Hirvonen, Topi Niemela. Uh, they might put on a little show. You never know. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see a live stream of that. If you, for some reason, can't see it, can't watch it, maybe we'll do a live stream and we'll have some fun talking about it. So yeah, the rookies report September 14th. The tournament is from the 15th to the 19th. The Leafs play Friday, September 16th versus the St. Louis Blues. Then they play Sunday, September 18th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they play September 19th versus the Detroit Red Wings. It's only 3 games. So I'm kind of excited. That's a week away, and we get to see people with a Leafs jersey on the ice. So yeah, rookies report September 14th. The tournament is from the 15th to the 19th. And then we have main camp. So a lot of the players are already in Toronto and they're skating, but camp officially opens September 21st. And I believe the Leafs' first game is September 25th. 4th, which is a Sunday, against the Ottawa Senators. So we're a couple of weeks away from some pretty exciting stuff. We're going to get this underway. Things are going to get exciting. I've already bought some tickets for 2 preseason games in Toronto. I'm going to be at the game. I believe it's October 2nd. Leafs versus Montreal, and I'm going to be at the final home game in preseason on October 5th. So I'm super excited about that. All right. So I think with camp around the start of training camp right around the corner, I think we need to talk about the roster a little bit. I think it's the tough thing about the roster is there's a lot of players. It's hard to say Bertuzzi's going to be here or Domi's going to go there. I'm going to give you guys my best educated guess of what the lineup will look like opening night, October 10th, versus, I believe it's the Montreal Canadiens, correct? Nope, I lied. October 11th versus the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm going to give you guys my best guess and why I think the roster is going to look this way. So let's get to it. So I initially thought that the Leafs should definitely start the season with Nylander and Marner on the top line with Matthews. And you can easily put Nyes or Nyes and Bertuzzi with Tavares, or you could put Domi and Bertuzzi with Tavares. But I came up with this lineup just to be a little bit more balanced. So I got Tyler Bertuzzi on the top line with Matthews and Marner. And the reason why I did that is based on what I've seen from Bertuzzi. He's a pretty tenacious guy. He dogs the puck pretty good. Every once in a while, he's made some moves around the back between the legs. He's undressed a couple of defensemen over his career. It's not something he does all the time, but he definitely has a high hockey IQ. And I think if Mitch Marner is going to get the money that he really wants on his next contract, he's going to have to play make at a very high level. Matthews has got to score 50 goals this year, and he's got to make Bertuzzi look really good. And just with the kind of guy Bertuzzi is, in and around the net, he's got hands. He's good at cycling the puck. I could see him opening up a lot of space for those guys, but I could also see him getting to the areas where guys like Mitch Marner can get you the puck in front of the net. And, Tavares, Nylander, everyone's benefited from his playmaking. So that to me seems like a pretty good top line. Um, I got Nyes on the second line with Tavares. Um, Only because he looked so good with Tavares in the playoffs. I kind of like to see that continue. It was more than obvious when Nyes was playing with O'Reilly. O'Reilly was doing a lot of mentorship there and kind of teaching him how to play the game the right way. And there's no better person on the Leafs to kind of take that spot from O'Reilly and continue mentoring Matthew Nyes in terms of, you know, what are the spots on the ice that you should be, holding on to the puck? How fast should you get rid of it? Just getting more used to the speed of the game and making the plays that like guys with high hockey IQs do. And Nice to me is like a lot like Tyler Bertuzzi in that way. Dogs the puck, um, and he has the hands to pull off these like sneaky moves. It's not that he's going to fly down the wing like Matthews and just do like a spin, put a top corner, toe drag around the guy, stuff like that. It's not necessarily that they do that all the time, but guys like Bertuzzi and Nyes have sneaky moves where in that, they come straight at you, and the moment you think this is just going to be an easy situation where I'm going to poke the puck off this guy's stick. They do something sneaky and they go inside, in and out on you, outside, inside with their stick. It's they put the puck in areas where you really have to reach for it or turn around, and as soon as you do, they're past you. So it's sneaky. Knives is sneaky good like that with his hands, and I think playing with Nylander and Tavares on the second line is really going to help. You have guys like Tavares who are good at cycling the puck, holding onto it, and then you have guys like Nylander who is you know all of Leafs Nation has seen this guy grab the puck, put it on his backhand, and then just go for a skater on the offensive. So, I mean, Nyes can really benefit from getting to the front of the net, being in and around the net, being open, and he does create space for himself. And guys like Nylander can really get you the puck in interesting ways. I mean, I would say the best example of Nylander's playmaking and just it's ridiculous how fast he processes these opportunities. Remember in the playoffs when the Leafs were down to Tampa, I think it was 4-1, and Matthews goes for a skate behind the net, comes out in front, and Nylander puts it in the air in the perfect place for Matthews to tip that into the top corner. I mean, when I saw that goal, I was thinking, like initially, I was like, "Where's Nylander going to throw this puck?" And it looked like he was just throwing something at the net, and it just turns out like he saw Matthews coming around, he put it right in his wheelhouse, and Matthews tipped it. It just shows the incredible level of talent that a lot of people take for granted in Toronto when it comes to William Nylander and Matthews. I mean, that is world class. I mean, that goal might be harder to pull off the way they pulled it off in the playoffs against Tampa. It might be harder than scoring in Michigan. That's my opinion. It's a so yeah. I think Nice for a lot of the same reasons why I put Bertuzzi on the top line. I would put Nice on the second line, and you know if it doesn't work out, if he's struggling, if the matchups are tough, him and Domi, him and Robertson. I mean, like you can easily switch that around. You could put Yarncrook there. There's a lot of options, but I would start with that and see if Matthew Nice can build off the confidence you know, he gave himself in the playoffs. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't remember the last time a rookie just stepped into the playoffs and looked that good. And, we all remember obviously, the play he makes being pinned against the boards, moving it onto Tavares. Tavares goes behind the net, comes out in front, wraparound goal off the skate, and the series is won. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Why he should be on the second line. And then I have Robertson on the third line with Max Domi and Cali Yarncrook. I think the three of these guys are relatively young guys. They're not rookies, but I think there could be some serious chemistry there. Robertson, when he's healthy and in the lineup, he's good. He's good at chasing the puck. I mean, he's very hard on the puck. He doesn't blow anybody up against the boards. He doesn't hit on open ice or anything like that. And neither does Max Domi, but these are guys that are pretty tenacious and they will mix it up. And Calle Yarncrook last year proved that, given the opportunity, playing with some players that can get him the puck, he's got a pretty hard shot and he could score from, you know, hash marks in. So that's an interesting line. I mean, if that doesn't work out, you can always move Camp up to be center on that line and move Domi to the wing or something like that. If Nick Robertson doesn't work out or doesn't make the team, and then the easy thing is Sam Lafferty plays center, so he can be your fourth line center. And then last but not least, I have Lafferty, Kemp, and Reeves on the fourth line. I think that's a pretty good fourth line. Kemp is not overly physical, but he's a great face-off guy. He's really good defensively. He's not a liability. Sam Lafferty is not bad. He skates fast. He can make plays. And then you got Reeves that kind of brings the physical toughness to that line, creating space out there, and you know that kind of time and space created by a big guy like that might actually allow Kemp and Lafferty to pop more than 10 goals this season, which would be great supplemental scoring. For the defense pairs, so as you can see on the LTIR list, we have Muzzin, Matt Murray, and both those players are gonna be there all season. I've added Mark Giordano there just because I don't think he's going to start the season. I think he's going to go on some sort of a leave. So he's not going to count against the cap for a little bit. Rumors are going around that he's entered rehab for alcohol addiction. And if that's true, that's incredibly sad. Wish him all the best. Obviously, when it comes to stuff like this, hockey is not as important as life is, and you just want him to be okay. You want him to get better, do whatever it is that he needs to do to have a good life. He's towards the end of his hockey career. You never know. I mean, if the situation is bad enough, you could see him even retire. So that kind of brings us to the defense, and I have Riley playing with Liljegren. I'm really looking for Liljegren to take a step forward this season, solidify his spot in the top four. And because Mark Giordano's out at left side D, my three lefty are Riley, Brody, and McCabe, which leaves Liljegren, Klingberg, and Connor Timmins as your right-handed defenseman, barring injury. So ideally you would have Riley playing with Liljegren. There's good puck moving on both sides there. TJ Brody, very good, solid, stay-at-home defenseman, playing with Klingberg, who needs, who wants to have this, this resurgence. He's had a couple of down seasons, so you want him to be able to play make, you want him to be able to skate with the puck and have confidence, and playing with TJ Brody as his partner allows him to do that and not have to worry about defense so much. And then you have Jake McCabe and Connor Timmins, which I think is a solid pair. Connor Timmins in this short amount of time he's been a Leaf, the games that he's played in, he's actually made some pretty good outlet passes. He's moved the puck. He hasn't looked like a crazy big liability. I think he would be a really good partner for Jake McCabe, who wants to move up, who likes taking shots from the blue line, who wants to create more offense, and I think Connor Timmins kind of allows you to do that. And obviously in net, you have Ilya Samsonov and Joseph Wall. So that is a 20-man roster that is cap compliant. And it's my humble opinion, as to how the Leafs should start the season. I think the real question marks are going to be on the third and fourth line. Does Kemp play third line center? Does he play fourth line center? Um, the Leafs have signed Holmberg and Gambrell, and they could easily be fourth line centers as well. And like I said before, Sam Lafferty plays center, and he can play fourth line center. So um, it's going to be interesting how they work the centers because where David Kemp plays in the bottom six dictates who the wingers will be. Obviously, if he's a third line center, that moves Domi over. Oh, that's and then obviously on the power play, let's say power play number one. What I did was just to be a little bit more balanced. I moved Tavares to power play two. So I have Nylander on the left side on power play one, which opens him up for the one timer. I have Matthews playing center and Bertuzzi playing the right side, which allows him to shoot from that side. And then you have Riley and Marner in the defense slots. Marner, playing up top where he normally does, and Riley as well. Second power play, moving Tavares there at center allows him to win the faceoffs that you need to on the power play to start, get in front of the net, and then you have Nyes, Yarncrux, Domi, and Klingberg. Domi and Klingberg being the puck movers, playmakers, and Nyes and Yarncrux being the guys who are going to be shooting the puck, and Tavares who's going to be net front. So I think that's a pretty solid um, power play group there. I mean, Domi easily could center the second power play, and if you move Tavares up to power play number one, it just means that um, Nyes and Bertuzzi and Domi are going to be the second power play unit, and that is a pretty good option. I mean, I see a lot. I see those guys. Bertuzzi, Nyes, and Domi are three players where if there's any chemistry there, they're going to dominate the offensive zone. The way they dog the puck, the way they create turnovers, they cycle the puck, they go behind the net, they're net front, they're pushing people, they're bumping people. I mean, they can easily get you flustered and just with their speed, hands, like they can really dominate the offensive zone. That might be like if Nylander plays with Tavares and Yarncrux, to have Nyes, Domi, and Bertuzzi as your third line. Let's say Bertuzzi's not on the top line. Like that's a line that could create a lot of havoc. As long as they're defensively responsible, I think that's a team. That's a line that can really dominate the offensive zone. Get it in there, even in a dump and chase scenario with their speed, their tenacity, the way they bump and hit people, like just the defense is. I think defense pairs, especially if they're on the third line, the defense pairs that they're going to play against, they're the type of defensive pairs that get flustered easy and can handle that kind of speed coming at you, from every which way. Like that's I think the most interesting thing about the Domi and Bertuzzi signing is can they like the Leafs are a puck possession team. We all know this, right? The Leafs rather turn the puck back and move it back to the defense and move it back up to the forwards instead of just dumping and getting rid of the puck. They're a puck possession team, and play, like having guys like Bertuzzi, Nyes, and Domi on the team. Like I only say Nyes because we haven't seen a full season of what Nyes looks like on the leagues. We've only seen him for a handful of playoff games, which were good, but that's a small sample size. So for this season, you have Bertuzzi, Nyes, and Domi who are going to be net new to the roster. What that looks like, I'm very interested in how Keefe kind of utilizes those guys. Because like I said, they could be a line on their own. They can play with the tops. They could play in the top six with Matthews, Tavares, Marner, and Nylander. And I think they could create a ton of havoc. The Leafs are a puck possession team, but they don't often cycle enough to tire the other team out, to fluster the other team's defense. I mean, we all know what Matthews and Marner can do against the other team's top defense and top shutdown line. But once Tavares and Nylander, or let's say Nyes, Domi, and Bertuzzi come out there, you're looking at second and third pairs. You're looking at defensemen that are not as quick, not as good defensively, and if you can throw three waves like that at a team, and there's a lot of teams that the defense isn't up to snuff, whether it's the Philadelphia Flyers, the Montreal Canadiens, the Ottawa Senators. I mean, there's a lot of teams around the NHL where the defense isn't all that great. I think the amount of damage that these guys can do is insane. And I'm very excited to see it. And the the most fun part of training camp is going to be how or the kind of the line combinations that Keith comes up with to test out who goes with who great. And I'm gonna guarantee that Nyes, Domi, and Bertuzzi are gonna go out there for a shift. And when they do, they're gonna dominate and Twitter's gonna go nuts. Social media is gonna go like these guys are gonna trend faster than any other topic has ever is started trending. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm super excited to see how like the first game in training camp where you've all the lines are in a blender. Bertuzzi, Domi, and Nyes where they end up. Do they go out there as a line? Kelly Yarncrook is a pretty tenacious guy. Maybe two out of the three end up with Yarncrook. Or maybe you just put, you know, Bertuzzi on the left, Domi in the middle, and put Reeves on that right wing. And then it just all hell breaks loose at that point. I mean, I'm very excited to see, the kind of the line juggling that's going to happen at camp because it's, I don't know. I think trying to guess what the opening night lineup looks like is like filling out an NCAA bracket. Uh, there's too many combinations. There's too many machinations. God knows what's going to happen, but it looks pretty interesting. I really like the way this team looks. You guys let me know what you guys think of these lines, what your lines would be. I'm interested to kind of talk about that and go back and forth and have that conversation because there's definitely going to be a lot of line juggling come training camp. And we're only weeks away. So if you're excited like I am, let's go. That pretty much concludes episode 2 of season 4 for the TML Domain podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I really appreciate the likes, the subscribers. Let me know if you want to live stream the rookie tournament and get the conversation started and see how these kids look this year with another year of development. It's always fun, right? Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.